The numbers tell the story. They always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is A Numbers Game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Hour number 3 of A Numbers Game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, Sirius XM Channel 158. Gill Alexander, Kelley Bydlon, producer number 9. So much more than a producer. Kelley's in Vegas.
That's right.
I'm in San Francisco. We'll be here this week and next week. Beyond that, who knows? Maybe I'll come back. Maybe I'll do it on a vacation. Maybe I'll do it from somewhere else. I don't know. It's the summer of 2026, baby.
That's right.
Anything's possible. How you doing over there? You good?
I'm doing just swell. I'm just another lonely day
Still
in the
feeling
studio.
lonely, huh?
A lot of room for activities in here now, but no, nobody wants to hang out. Darnell tried to be nice. He gave me like a minute of his time earlier. Nobody else has popped out and said hi.
That was sweet of him.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
We have an upset at Wimbledon on the men's side. Ben Shelton loses in 5 sets. He loses in a 5th set tiebreaker to Otto Virtanen. Otto Virtanen of Finland. We were talking a little bit about this off air. Sweden has this unbelievable tennis history. They've had 3 world number ones: Bjorn Borg, Stefan Edberg, Mats Wilander. But the neighboring Scandinavian countries, Finland and Norway, don't have much of a history. So Otto Virtanen beats Ben Shelton. That's the biggest upset of the tournament so far. Shelton, the number 4 seed on the men's side. But again, when you're the number 4 seed on the men's side, you might as well be the 40th seed, for God's sakes.
Yeah,
but he loses a 5th set tiebreaker 11-9. Sorry.
Once again, the things that you miss on the VSiN Plus account, the thrilling 2-minute breakdown of Finnish tennis by Gill and Kelley and the history.
Oh, it's fascinating stuff. Our 2 plays, Oksana Selekmedova off to a good start. She's up a set. She won the first set 6-1 against Sonia Kraus. Selekmedova is the slight dog in that. We are on her. And then Elena Gabriela Rousset, she has the first set on her racket here, 5-4, 30-30. We'll see if she can't get the first set in the books against Katie McNally. So good start, at least on paper, to both of those. What could go wrong, as they say? Let's get, let me just read this one tweet here before we get into the NBA stuff. No Emu Doug. I'll read a couple. No Emu Doug talking about the segment with Drew earlier. He says, having gratitude for high quality steel and concrete. Suddenly I manage the construction of our monster buildings. The engineering is also high quality. Good thought. Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, No Emu Doug. That is Elderly Gambler, because we were talking about the serious nature of those earthquakes in Venezuela earlier. Ayaoya 69, S69. It's amazing that I can turn on to a numbers game for sports betting news, talk of aliens, and then getting totally blown away by Drew's impassioned talk about earthquakes. Well done. Yeah, well, that's what we do.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I want to circle back to that, Gill. I forgot Drew's impassioned take distracted me from the alien bit that got brought up before. I did not catch this. So what, the Twitterverse was a buzz with that was the cause?
There is a faction, Kelley. I'll use the word faction if you don't mind me using that word.
Are these like underground aliens? Is that what we're talking about? Because don't we have the aliens that live in the oceans now? And now we've got underground ones?
There is a theory that aliens are living under the ocean.
They're just shaking the ground? Just shaking us off the planet. Get out!
I believe the technical term is shaken. There is also a theory that there are 3 different kinds of aliens. But part and parcel with that theory is that they're a very benevolent alien.
They've been here forever, right?
They've been here forever. Had they wanted to do anything bad to us, they could have done it many, many times before. That is not the theory of these folks on Twitter, that this is all going to end up splendidly.
Don't you feel like...
At least that's what I've gotten from it.
Because we've got like the water ones, and then like, aren't there like the insectoid ones or whatever? Like, Gill, don't you feel like this isn't very creative? If these aren't real, they're not very creative to make up a bug-like alien, right? Like we've all seen that before.
Well, Kelley, they're a vastly more intelligent... I don't even know if I'm supposed to use the word species. They're a vastly more intelligent life form than we are. Yeah, than we are, according to all of Twitter. As you say that at the end, it's so ridiculous. According to all of Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter.
So,
Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Danny, is this breaking news in my face right here? Shams Charania. LeBron James will continue his NBA career for the 26-27 season, has informed the Los Angeles Lakers that the franchise can move on without him because he will play elsewhere. Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul tells ESPN.
Wow. So there it is. So it does feel like the Golden State Warriors. Now, if you go to Kalshi, if we went right to that Kalshi market right now, because we reported earlier that at the prediction market Kalshi that LeBron's next team, retiring or Lakers, was the short shot by a tick, just a little shorter than him going to the Warriors. Now, if you are betting this right now, you got to jump on this to see if you can get ahead of this move.
Minus 306 to Golden State.
There you go.
Lakers
get ahead of the move.
Lakers, no, not removed. You could bet the no price though on the Lakers.
Yeah.
At a little over minus 5,000. That's not bad. That is not bad. I mean, Gill, you and I first talked about when we were first starting to use Kalshi, just the bankroll builder bets, right?
Yeah.
Man just said he's not coming back.
But it does feel like it's the Warriors. I mean, we'll see if that happens, but it does feel like the long-awaited, I guess long-awaited by many. I don't know if anybody in the Bay ever really cared about a Curry-LeBron tandem, but that is in fact what we might get now. Shades of the Olympic Games. It's
wild. I guess these next couple minutes just for you, Mark Borchert. This is like, it sounds cheesy, Gill, right? But it's like kind of, if this is really what we're getting, it's just fun, right? It's fun. It's LeBron with Steph. We all know that they're on the tail end of their careers. We've been scrambling for the last, few years now to see, hey, can these guys piece together some teams to make one more run at it? And the fact that it looks like they might be doing it together now and trying to do it in an era, right, that is beginning to change on them, where we have Victor Wembanyama and these powers out west, that these guys are more of an afterthought at this point. It's just fun. It's fun. And then, man, as much as I love and respect LeBron James, I am so happy for Luka Doncic and the Los Angeles Lakers that they can move on beyond this part of their team and start focusing on building around Luka Doncic, who is such a special basketball player, but requires a specific roster. And we saw that at the end of his Dallas tenure. And I think they have an opportunity now with LeBron moving on. And then I think this is a big one flying under the radar. Walker Kessler. This is a guy who was center out of Utah, was hurt a lot last year. The Lakers have been trying to get him and linked to him for a couple years. Thought it was going to be a pipe dream. No shot. I think he is very live to go to LA now and be the rim runner and kind of center with Luka now for a while. I'm just excited to see what the Lakers can do now after LeBron James.
It's so interesting too, from different perspectives. One, it was one thing to take a backseat to Luka, and I don't think LeBron was necessarily ready for that. It's a totally different thing now to take a backseat to Steph Curry, right? Or to be his Robin to his Batman. I think he's probably fine with that at his stage of his career. If he was going to do it with anybody, it was probably Steph. And then just, for old schoolers like myself who grew up on MJ, right? Michael Jackson, but also Michael Jordan in this case, who grew up on Michael Jordan, who grew up on all the greats from yesteryear, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. Those guys didn't change teams, right? And today's modern superstar, once again, add another chapter to the peripatetic careers of all of these guys, whether it's KD or LeBron, right? LeBron goes from Cleveland to, Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in Miami, wins a couple titles, goes back to Cleveland, wins a title there, goes to the Lakers, wins a bubble title there with AD. Now he goes to the Warriors for what we would imagine is the swan song of his career. Whether it amounts to anything at all here in the Bay with Golden State, with Steph and LeBron. And by the way, I think Draymond comes back now for sure. Is my hunch.
I agree
on that. Whether that amounts to anything at all or not, who knows? Probably not. I think we would all agree. But as you pointed out the other day, from a NBA broadcasting ratings standpoint, oh my God, they love this.
I got to defend LeBron a little bit here, though, Gill. I agree with all those other moves. We could say that about LeBron. I mean, it's a 41-year-old man who's basically getting chased out of town, right? Like, if we're being real about this in basketball terms, that's what's happening, right? And the next chapter is a different story, but like the Los Angeles Lakers just ran LeBron out of town. He said, "Thanks for coming here for what was it, 8 years? You got us a championship. We're moving on with Luka. Get out of here. We need to free up the books."
Yeah, and we were talking about this off air. They made, talking about the Lakers, virtually no effort to contact LeBron in all of this, right? They were like, hey, we're here, but we're not like, it wasn't a full court press.
Yeah, listening to Brian Windhorst reporting on this throughout, it sounds like the Lakers, according to him, reached out to LeBron and let him know they were interested in bringing him back. Not really any details. That was like immediately after the season, and LeBron never got back to them. And it was kind of Lakers started doing their own thing, so I'm not shocked to see this happen. I'm excited, though, and I'm really, like you said, I kind of can't believe we might be talking about a Warriors team with Steph Curry and LeBron James next year. I mean, and it's going to be Porzingis, and it's going to be Draymond, a cheap Draymond back. Like, it's an interesting team, that's for sure.
Boy, I'm telling you, the Warriors have put together 2018's greatest team ever. It's really, hey, Gill, it is a spectacular team in 2018.
One of the NBA moves we didn't talk about earlier is, what did JVT call him yesterday? The most talked about average player in the history of the NBA. Your Dubs have a chance to get Jonathan Kuminga back. Not returning to the Atlanta Hawks. They could get him back in the fold too. Wow, what a move that would be.
Does Steve Kerr know about this, by the way?
I know nobody's informed him now.
That could be a problem. Paul Carr hasn't had a chance to chime in on the World Cup triple header yet. We do it next on A Numbers Game right here at VSiN. You're here because you want an edge. That's what separates listeners from winners. But let's be real, mindset alone doesn't get bets home. Pros win because they've got the tools, the data, and the discipline. And now so can you. VSiN Pro gives you access to the same real-time insights the sharps use. No secrets, no fluff, just actionable info that moves markets. Tap the link and see why serious bettors are turning knowledge into profit with VSiN Pro.
A Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
20 leagues, one mission, just win bets, baby. Your premier source for daily sports betting picks. They break down the data so you can bet with confidence across the entire sports calendar. Scan the QR code or visit justwinbetsbaby.com today and start betting smarter with Just Win Bets Baby. The name says it all. It's Gill Alexander in San Francisco for the week. Kelley Bydlon back at Circa Resort Casino in our VSiN studios. And Paul Carr joins us now from the Heartland, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. Paul is the emperor over there at TruMedia Networks to talk some World Cup with us. Good morning to you, Paul.
Gil, we had a day yesterday. Three great games. All 4 knockout games so far have been wonderful, and we have 28 more of these to go, so buckle up.
Buckle up is right. Now, so I have a couple questions. One, there is Paraguay winning on PKs yesterday against Germany. Mm-hmm. Does that make us, the United States of America, Team USA, look that much better?
Yeah, we're winning the World Cup for sure. Yeah. I mean, yes is the short answer. Because there was a vocal group of people that after the Paraguay game, like, look, they're the worst team in South America that made it, whatever, which is, accurate to a point. But it wasn't just that the U.S. won. It was they just destroyed Paraguay 4-1. And you saw all the things the U.S. did with getting guys in and making chances that Germany did not do against the same team. So, again, you can't quite use the transitive property, and the U.S. isn't going to go whoop up on Germany or something like that. But it shows some of the upside and the capabilities that this U.S. team has.
Excellent use of transitive property as well.
Thank
from
you.
Geometry class. Well done. Later, we will discuss the commutative property, I believe, is another one.
Can't wait.
Here's my other thing from yesterday. So Germany goes down on penalty kicks. The Netherlands go down on penalty kicks. The drama, we went through it earlier. It was just awesome. Is this a cautionary note for all these other supposed favorites, right? The Belgiums of the world, perhaps the Team USAs of the world. Do not get wrapped up in a penalty kick situation because it may not go your way.
take care of business. If it's throw on 2 more forwards in stoppage or in extra time, like, I'm for it. You're so much better off. I mean, it's just the math of it all. If you look at the betting odds, for example, if you look at, Germany, Paraguay at the start of extra time, Germany was a significant favorite. Goes to the shootout, much closer to a coin flip. So, I mean, that's the simplest way to say it. Like, if you're the better team, which, the U.S. will be against Bosnia and Herzegovina, then you're better off playing out and going for it then, because you get to penalty kicks and it's much closer to a coin flip than it would be otherwise.
We have a triple header today again, round of 32, beginning with France. France taking on Sweden. You have a play in this game. You are all about the French. Man,
I mean, I don't know how you can bet against France at this point, against a much lesser opponent like Sweden. Here's my favorite note from the group stage with France. They were the 3rd team in the last 40 years to win all their group games with a goal difference of +8 or better. The other 2 were France in 1998, when they won the title, and Brazil in 2002, when they won the title. So that's the kind of upside that France has, the kind we knew they had. And maybe their defense hasn't been quite as good as expected, but they are opening up the attack. And if they do that, they should be able to hang 3 goals on anybody. Sweden, not very good defensively. They were bad in qualifying. They kind of backdoored their way just to get to the World Cup. They got torched by Netherlands in the group stage. Famous last words. I don't see how Sweden keeps up with France in this game. So I laid a goal and a half with France at -125.
All right. And by the way, I misspoke. France-Sweden is the second of the 3 games today. The game that stops, the match that starts at the top of the hour is the Norway-Ivory Coast game, of course, which I have a draw in. I'm playing a draw in the late game between Mexico and Ecuador as well. Do you have any plays on either of those 2 games before we move on to another?
I lean over Ivory Coast, Norway. All 3 of Norway's group games had 5 goals and over 3 expected goals. So I think, they kind of just go for it. Ivory Coast has a lot of attacking talent. So I lean over in that game. You can get over 2.5 around even money, -105 range.
Okay. What about Team USA? Let's talk about it. Round of 32. You have said par is the round of 16. So we're just trying to get to par here. How are you playing this?
So I've written the first half goal for the U.S. through the whole group stage, and all 3 of those hit. They scored in the first, I think, 11 minutes of all 3 games. I like that idea again in this one, but first half goal for the U.S. here is like -185 by now. So we're getting in the, not a lot of value range. So I kind of pivoted to U.S. first half. U.S. win the first half, or it's a 3-way money line first half, whatever your book lists it. -125, I think is -120 is where I got that. U.S. has just shown they want to come out and beat people right away. They've played 13 straight World Cup opponents over the past year and scored in the first half in 10 of those. So U.S. can do that. Bosnia was one of the worst attacking teams in the group stage as far as shot generation, expected goals and such. So I don't think they really have the firepower. And if the U.S. comes out like they have shown they will, then they're going to create plenty of chances in this first half and should get a goal, maybe even 2 if you're feeling good in this one. So yeah, U.S. win the first half -120 against Bosnia-Herzegovina tomorrow.
Might as well keep hammering it. USA Bosnia-Herzegovina is tomorrow. The winner, we're hoping it's Team USA, but the winner will take on the winner of the Belgium-Senegal match, which is tomorrow as well. If I gave you truth serum, or if I gave Team USA more specifically truth serum, and I say, okay, you beat Bosnia-Herzegovina, you advance, who would you rather play? What's the answer?
This is a tough one, I think. I think I would say Senegal. When the U.S. beat Senegal earlier, last month in May in a friendly, I'm not real high on Belgium because, some of their best players are old. Your De Bruyne, Lukaku's coming off the bench, etc. But I still think Belgium has a little bit more upside, a little bit more danger. Jeremy Doku on the left wing is maybe one of the best wingers in the world and really gave the U.S. fits in their friendly back in March. So I think I would say Senegal. I don't think there's a lot between these 2 teams, Belgium and Senegal. I would take Senegal to advance if I were making a play on this game. But I think it's got to be Senegal just because Belgium's got a little more upside, even if they have a lower floor as well.
All right. So again, with Paul Carr's golf analogy, if we lose, we being Team USA, if we lose to Bosnia-Herzegovina, we have bogeyed this tournament. If we lose next round to either Belgium or Senegal, we have parred this tournament. If we win that one, we are birdieing at worst.
Yeah, and here's my addendum to that. I think if he loses in the next round, while it would be par, I think it's like parring a par 5 when you get on the green in 2.
Yeah.
You get to that point and you feel like, we ought to get a birdie here. You got a, 30-footer, 40-footer or something. Like you should get in the hole in 2 there, but it ends up taking 3. So you're a little disappointed even if you do get a par.
Spectacular analogy, by the way. Keeps having tentacles. I love that. It's like a par, but on a par 5 where you get on the dance floor in 2. You were expecting more. Not to be outdone, Thursday there's matches. Spain, Austria is one of them. You have a play in that game.
Yeah, I like the over here, over 2.5, -115, -120 range. Spain has, both these teams really were what we thought they were in the group stage. Spain, again, they drew Cape Verde, but they outplayed them and, ball just didn't go in the net, whatever. They crushed Saudi Arabia. The Uruguay game was kind of a weird one, but Spain won that too. And Austria, they drew Algeria, roughly even with. They beat Jordan. They lost Argentina, all pretty much as expected. So I don't know that we learned a lot about either of these teams, but Austria has this, Red Bull style where they're going to press, they're going to get up and down. You saw a lot of it in the Algeria game, the parts that were actually competitive. And Spain, for those tuning in to Spain for maybe the first time in 4 years, this is not the pass you to death version of Spain that won a World Cup and a Euros a few years ago. This is much more, again, up and down. They don't mind running with you a little bit. They don't mind winning games 3-2, 3-1. They're not trying to win everything 1-0. And Austria's style will play right into that. So I expect to see goals in this one. So over 2.5 at -115.
We saw 2 matches and in penalty kicks yesterday with the upset, if you will, happening. Paraguay advances, Morocco advances, was just high drama. You're a guy who watches much more soccer than Kelley and me do. What is sort of the Paul Carr pet peeve of penalty kicks? What would you say about yesterday's? Were there mistakes made within that? Help us understand as sort of the more casual American sports fans on these.
My biggest pet peeve is guys who stutter step and slow down and try to react to what the keeper is doing, because one, it just looks terrible, like kick the ball already. But I do think like it makes it a little harder. Like your eyes aren't on the ball, which not every players have to be, but just mentally you're not quite as sure. So you're not getting as much power. You're probably not placing it quite as well. I think it just puts you in a bad spot. I get what they're trying to do because obviously you have more information. Where's the keeper going? Half the net is open in theory, but I think it just takes guys out of their normal routine because you're really not doing that when you're normally kicking a ball. So I hate it when guys do it both aesthetically and practically.
Aesthetically as well. And then I mentioned this earlier, your boy Alexi, man, Zlatan is just killing him. Did you see this yesterday? It was like, how many penalty kicks have you taken?
I don't think I saw this one.
Yeah, how many? That's right. Have you ever done penalty kicks, Alexi? He's like, not for a long time. Ever do it at a World Cup? No.
Right. Alexi should ask him how much TV he's done.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Hey-o. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
Alexi wouldn't do that. He's too nice.
Too nice or something. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. Coming back with more baseball next on A Numbers Game right here at VSiN.
A Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
This 4th of July, we're bringing back something we rarely do. It is a multi-year VSiN Pro subscription. That's right, I said it. Multi-year for 1 week only. Just this week, get 2 full years of VSiN Pro for just $299. That is 2 full years. Access through July 2028 at nearly 70% off the regular monthly price. You get our NFL season betting guide, daily best bets, real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, AI-powered prop projections, 24/7 video on the VSiN Watch app, and every betting guide, season preview, and VSiN Pro feature that we release over the next 2 years. But don't wait. The special 4th of July offer disappears after July 7th. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe now to lock in 2 years of VSiN Pro for just $299. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. How about that?
I'm just thinking how many betting guides you're getting over that time. That is a ton of value there, because guess what? It is impossible in my opinion, impossible for everybody to be great at betting every sport. But we do all these betting guides, and I know, Gill, I read the college football, college basketball ones I've got to dive into because they help educate me on a sport I have no idea what's going on with. Yeah.
I am going to say you get double-digit worth of guides, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think
pretty
so.
Sure we do at least 5 a year, yeah. How about that Adam Burke, by the way? At least 5 a year of those betting guides. We get tweets, speaking of the book. We have a backlog of tweets here, pardon me, that we have to get to. Nemesis Enforcer at Prodigal Son 1. Ben Shelton, so overrated. Glad they stopped that stupid talking to his dad after every point. Ben, you're also a guy who does not love Ben Shelton, correct?
No, I do not. I do.
Yeah.
It's probably unfair, Gil, because it's just the easy combination of just he kind of acts a little clownish, and then I found out like he went to the University of Florida, and I'm like, okay, this is easy to pile on. It's just too easy.
Super Jerk has chimed in. He says, I didn't know Kelley was so lonely. He should go on a double date with Greg. Wow.
I would have lost money betting on what that tweet was going to be about, Gill. I thought for sure, here's Super Jerk to back up Borchard real quick. I would have bet money on that.
I thought he was going to go in on San Francisco or something, right?
Oh, yeah.
Three Jacques
possibility, yeah.
3 Jacques H3131. Go in all you want, by the way. Can we get Jeffrey Benson to put up an over-under on types of aliens? Opening line has to be 3 at -125, but I'll use South Point and take the over 3.5 at -110 if available. He's going over 3.5. Okay.
Oh, man. Love it.
Limited everywhere. When you get back to Vegas, Gill and Kelley must go Mork handshake to honor the best alien ever. Nanu Nanu to both of you. That is a reference to the ABC sitcom Mork and Mindy from the early 80s, I believe. Scott Barbrack. The real bet is, this is great. This is the first Bronny joke since the LeBron news. For those who missed it, LeBron James has announced he will continue his NBA career. It just will not be with the Los Angeles Lakers. They should move on without him. Scott Barbrack says the real bet is, does Bronny get cut pre-July 4th? LOL. Good call, by the way.
This is a good call. I haven't thought about all the Antetokounmpo brothers. What are their? This is like Jessica Pegula-esque. Gill, I'm a little concerned for some careers in the NBA right now. This is we got Bronny to worry about. We got Thanasis to worry about. Got to find these guys a job.
Mm-hmm. JB, completely agree. The endless NBA talk is an instant shutoff, as is the overdone Mets talk. Well, we're not responsible for overdone Mets talk on this program. I think he's just talking about elsewhere. Can we at least get a break off season? More tennis, please. Hey, man, I'm doing as much tennis as possible, but when I talk tennis, I have a little voice inside my head that says not everybody would want more tennis. Las Vegas 514. Yo. You and I, me and you, true basketball hardos. We all know who the real GOAT is. Oh, he's talking about Michael Jordan back in the day. This is from Fairway Fred. I have the under-over on smiles of the FIFA officials sitting in their private boxes at a half a smile juice to the under. Okay. I don't know what that, I'm not sure where that came from, but okay. Tagurit. I could be wrong, but I am reasonably sure. You are correct on this, by the way, Tagurit. He says, I am reasonably sure that biscuit in the basket is a hockey reference because a puck is shaped like a biscuit. Football uses phrases more like it was a clinical finish. You're 100% right, and I am aware that biscuit in the basket was a Keith Olbermann hockey reference, but I just decided I would reapply it to soccer, or football, as they say. If we're doing all that, we shouldn't call it soccer at all. We should just call it football. Kelley, you're still there? You're awfully quiet back there.
Oh,
still
yeah, I'm just doing more alien research.
Okay.
Four races.
Let me know what you find.
Okay, four races is what we got: the reptilians, the insectoids, the Greys, and the Nordics. So this is what I'm talking about, Gill. If we're making stuff up, this isn't. Me too, but maybe that's like the oldest one. Otherwise, Nordic, reptilian, and insectoid. These aren't very creative if we're making stuff up. Just saying, maybe there's something to this.
And the Greys are like the worker bee ones or something? I don't know.
I think the Greys are like the old classic flying saucer ones.
Okay. But then there's the small ones, then there's like the 9-foot ones that appeared in Vegas a couple summers back. Remember that? Anyway.
Yeah. The Greys are the small ones, I believe.
I believe you're correct. Let's see. Brian M. Has anyone ever seen Ben Shelton in the same room as Mahomes' brother? Okay, maybe I should stop with the tweets. Real quick, if you missed this, because it is June 30th. Yesterday, obviously, I gave out, maybe not obviously, but I gave out my most July wins bet. So one more shot just to give it out here on June 30th for July. I went with, first of all, I did my 3-2-1. Sometimes I even go 5-4-3-2-1. But for the month of July, I went 3-2-1. What I first talked about was for a month that features the smallest amount of games, the fewest amount of games per team. And you say to yourself, what do you mean? It's 31 days. But there's the All-Star break, of course. So for a month that has the fewest number of days on which games are played, you would think it would be the most bunched up in terms of number of games per team. But in fact, it is the widest gap because there are makeup games. So the St. Louis Cardinals play 28 scheduled games in the month of July. And as you see on the board here, then you got a couple teams that play 27. You got a couple that play 26. Most play 25 and 24. And then there are 3 teams that play 23. So the St. Louis Cardinals, Kelley, play 5 more games, at least scheduled to play 5 more games in the month of July than the Orioles, Astros, and Angels do. That's incredible. So if you're betting
quite an advantage in a market like this.
In a William Hill Caesars market, it is, right, where it's a dead heat tie. Now, you could make the case at Circa. Well, it also gives you fewer chances to lose games also, right? So in the event of a tie, it ends up being like kind of a good thing. But yeah, generally speaking, you want more opportunities to win more games. My third was, by the way, and I recommend the Mark Borchard basewinner.com thing as well, because he's got a bunch of shots on there in addition to the ones he gave out. My third was the Atlanta Braves. They ended up being my number 3. Braves, what I put together here is their schedule of opponents is on the left of your screen. That is the actual record as of yesterday for all of those teams when we first went through this. So we're, a little at the halfway mark, almost exactly at the halfway mark of the season, or a little beyond that. And then on the right side of the screen is what the teams that they're playing, what their records ought to be if you looked at it through the prism of Bill James' Pythagorean theorem, which is simply tried and true formula, runs produced, runs prevented. Here's what their win percentage and therefore their win-loss record ought to be. And then through the prism of sequencing, base runs in this case, over at Fangraphs. And what you see is the Braves pretty much play a 500 schedule. Like every one of those opponents is right around 500. But ultimately with the Braves, it was only plus 550. I'm not playing at plus 550, which is also the case with who I ended up as the runner-up, which is the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers are 5-1. They were the short shot in this market and remain so. Same exercise with the Milwaukee Brewers, the teams they play, the actual records of what the teams ought to have on the right side of your screen, even better in terms of weaker opponents than the Braves had to play. So the Brewers, to me, absolutely make sense as the short shot, but I'm not playing a month at 5-1. I'm just not doing it. We just saw the Marlins cash at a really super long number. Anything in this market, it's too much can happen to live through a 5-1 or a plus 550 through an entire month. I ended up with the Boston Red Sox, much along the lines of what Joe Sheehan was talking about earlier on the show about you really want to try to play teams that have been underperforming. The Boston Red Sox fit the bill. They just swept the Yankees in a 4-game set. They win last night, trying to close out this month with a flourish. I got them next month at 80-1. Now it's much lower than that now. I moved it to 60-1. I'm seeing it 25-1.
It was,
what'd you say, Kelley?
It was 30-1. You bet this at Caesars, right?
Yes, 80-1.
80-1. It was 30-1 earlier in the show when I was checking on this, and I think we went to break, and I didn't get a chance to tell you on air. It is 20-1 now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I could play it at 20-1.
That's a massive move.
Yeah, but this to me was the best in terms of, again, schedule of opponents, what those opponents' records ought to really be, and the way that the Red Sox themselves have been an underperforming team. They really are a 500 or slightly better team than the terrible record that they've had thus far this year. I think a lot of signs point to the Red Sox, and at that 80-1 number, I just thought that number was way out of whack. That to me represented the best value. So the Boston Red Sox are my play in the month of July. But right now, if you haven't played it yet, probably too short. Coming back, we'll recap all the bets next on a numbers.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back on a numbers game, live from San Francisco and Las Vegas. Gill Alexander, Kelley, Bydlon. You can follow on Twitter at Kelley Bydlon, by the way.
Where are all my Norwegians at? That's what I want to know, Gill. Where's all my Norway fans? The circus a little quiet here. We got a game starting in 15 minutes, and yesterday this place was packed.
You were expecting a bigger Norwegian turnout, is what you were saying. You were counting on it.
Kind of wanted to chug a beer with some Norway fans, you know.
You feel like, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like you have more of a kinship with the Norway fans than any other fan group. Is that correct? After the United States, I am most rooting for France because I have bets on them. Then it would be Norway. So if we're just going by heart, yes, Norway would be next. I mean, come on. The fan videos are awesome. Like I love all these fan bases. First of all, like it is. You, Paul and I were talking off the air. Like Mexico's pulling the whole CONCACAF thing. I guess where they've just been partying outside of the Ecuador hotel like all night long. Great videos on Twitter about that. They're just honking car horns and playing drums and trying to keep these guys up. But I told you weird that video the Scottish bagpipe players playing when they just rented out an Airbnb in Boston on like the first day of the tournament. It's awesome to see. It's awesome to see people coming in and celebrating their country and their team. And Norway fans, between the golf tournament this last weekend with Victor Hovland, and they all showed up there. Like it's been a really cool run. So you got that, and then you got the easiest guy on the face of the earth to root for in Erling Haaland, scoring all the goals. So yeah. Erling Haaland, 2 goals back in the Golden Boot to Lionel Messi right now. Messi with 6, Haaland standing at 4. A couple others with 4 as well. We get tweets speaking of the book. I just want to read these last 2. Fred Courier. We just had a tweet about, has anyone ever seen Ben Shelton in the same room as Patrick Mahomes' brother? Fred Courier says, a Jeff Benson shout out on the show and alien talk. Is he trying to relate those two, or is he just saying we span the gamut? I'm not sure. Michael Simmer. Does the 2-year deal extend from current subscription end date? So my VSiN subscription ends in 2028. So I would go to 2030 ? Michael, I actually ran this up the flagpole to the very top. And Bill 80 says you are correct. That's exactly how it would go down. Your subscription would end in 2028, wherever it does currently. And then yours would extend to 2030 on this new deal. That's exactly right. To the plays. Wimbledon. Women's singles. I only had 2 plays today on the at Wimbledon, and right now it is looking like mixed reviews. On the one hand, we're on Oksana Selekhmetova. She is up a set. She is serving for the match now, up 6-5 in the second set versus Sinja Kraus. That's the good news. The bad news is that our girl Elena Gabriela Rousset, who was serving for the first set, well, she gacked that. And you know what happens when these ladies or men gack these sets. Things tend to go south. And they have for Elena Gabriela Rousset, who is now down a set and down a break in the second set. So that's not fun if those 2 results end up. We end up with a small tick of a loss on the day if those end up splitting. So that's where Wimbledon. I only had those 2 matches. Was a little more nitty than I was yesterday. Yesterday was not a fine day either. It was 2 and 4. Grass court season's been great. So not the end of the world. If those results hold today, I'll only be down 2 units here through 2 days. Not fun, but not the end of the world either. We can make up for that in a flash. But in being nitty and you leave a whole bunch of your leans off the board, you have to be able to stomach. Some of those leans are going to win. Some of them are going to lose. But so I try not to get too fixated on the ones that won and sort of acknowledge, oh yeah, but these were going to lose anyway. So that would have been a wash also. Or would have been impossible to know which would end up with which. I do have Iga to win Wimbledon at 10-1. She won her opening match today against the great Taylor Townsend of the United States. That's a tough opener. Iga will play Karolina Pliskova in round 2. Remember, that is Drew's play at 125-1 to win the ladies' side at Wimbledon. So Iga, no favors on this draw. Townsend to Pliskova to Ayala. First 3 rounds, if those go. By the way, has Serena started yet? She has not. Serena Williams about to take the court at Wimbledon for her comeback. She's taking on Maya Joint. A lot of money coming in on Serena this morning. I'm not sure I understand it. I did set her match win total at 1.5. Wouldn't be surprised if somehow she figures it out today, but she ain't getting past the second round against the Yala, if that is to be her opponent.
Yeah, Gill, I was trying to figure out what was going on ESPN over here, because I don't remember this during the Australian Open. Malika Andrews on tennis coverage, right? NBA Today host for ESPN, doing tennis coverage this year, which she's done a great job with, right? And she's over in London for Wimbledon, and they just cut into Wimbledon coverage. I mean, I don't think a match was currently going on, but they just cut into Wimbledon coverage to bring in Shams Charania to, I'm guessing, report what we've already talked about with LeBron informing the Lakers that he's moving on. But I'm waiting to see if this is him reporting where he's going.
Oh, interesting.
But I thought it was very interesting enough just seeing Malika at the All England Club welcoming in Shams onto the show to talk NBA.
Yeah, I'm thinking, by the way, Malika's career trajectory is she will lose basketball at some point and go strictly tennis and Good Morning America.
Yep.
That's my guess with her. I don't know. We'll see if there's an update to LeBron this morning in terms of, again, if you missed it, LeBron says to the Lakers, I'm continuing my basketball career, just not with you guys. You can move on without me. Speculation in terms of betting markets, the Warriors now the favorite to acquire LeBron James, to team him up with Steph Curry. By the way, I did the draw thing yesterday, first game, last game, didn't participate in the middle game draw with Germany, was not a part of that, got beat in added time in the first game, won on a added time goal in the third game yesterday in the Morocco game. So that ends up being with draws. The bang for your buck is it ends up being a winning day. I'm doing the same thing today, not just because I like first and third, but because the matchups lend to it. Ivory Coast, Norway, draw to begin things here in a few minutes at plus 240. And then the late night game today, Mexico, Ecuador. I took a draw there at plus 193. Kelley.
Yeah, I like it. I might be joining you on the late one again, Mexico, Ecuador. But that price is coming down by, the total's at 2 with the under-juiced. I don't know. I'm with you on that one, though. I think that's looking like a draw bet for me. I am tailing Paul Carr. I'll lay the goal and a half with France. Hopefully France keeps cruising here. 1.5 at minus 120. Those are available out there. That's my only bet so far, but I do think I'm gonna play that draw in the late game with you tonight. And then the early one today, just rooting for my Norway futures. So hopefully Norway continues to win. The @1 added future for me, Argentina to reach the semifinals at minus 125. Bet that on Sunday. Obviously only a few games played yesterday, so I check price. I would assume it hasn't moved a ton, but maybe a little bit. And then some of the NFL bets we talked about yesterday. Browns under 6.5 wins, and the Bills minus 125 to win the AFC East.
And of course, I have the Niners over 10.5 wins as my first NFL bet of the offseason as well. Joined earlier by Joe Sheehan. Joe's on the Red Sox today versus the Nats. He's on the Royals Rays under 10. He's on the Giants to beat the Diamondbacks today. Short price there. Dodgers Athletics over 11 runs at Sutter Health Park in Sacktown. And then Christian Yelich of the Brewers over 1.5 total bases. He's taking that as his prop bet of the day at plus 127. A 5-pack from Joe. Drew Dinsick, Ivory Coast to advance. Again, that match begins here in a few minutes. Top of the hour, plus 145 versus Norway. That's Ivory Coast to advance. Mexico, Ecuador tonight. Correct score 0-0. I sprinkled a little on that too at 5-1. So not only a draw, but also a sprinkle on the 0-0. Bengals to win the AFC. That was Drew's maiden NFL bet. Bengals to win the AFC, Kelley, plus 1025. We really didn't get a chance to talk about that. You likes?
Yeah, I mean it's the Bengals, right? I don't know. It's hard to argue with the play. We know what they're bringing to the table. But yes, do we expect the defense to be a little bit better this year? Yeah, I think so. I think they've made some good ads. It's a tough AFC still, though, right? It's a real tough AFC. A lot of good teams. I think you could make an argument for.
Mark Borchard, he's got 3 plays today. Orioles on the run line, minus 1.5 runs versus the White Sox, minus 140, plus 140 on the run line. Parlay of the day from base winner. Wouldn't be a base winner appearance without that. Orioles Mariners moneyline parlay plus 163 is what that pays. And the Mets to beat the Blue Jays. The Mets trying to stay out of the cellar of June wins that market. Right now they're in last place. So he's got the Mets today as short dog at the Blue Jays. Then 3 plays from Mark. In the month of July market, most wins July. Dodgers at plus 650, the Mariners at 20-1, the Orioles at 90-1. He actually has more on his website at basewinner.com if you want to check those out as well. And then finally, Paul Carr. 3-pack from Paul Carr. Today, he's on France minus the goal and a half versus Sweden. Tomorrow, Team USA wins the first half versus Bosnia and Herzegovina at minus 120. And Thursday, Spain, Austria over 2.5 goals. All three of those from our buddy Paul. Kelley, thank you so much. Thank you to Danny, Chris, Larry, Darnell, everybody back there, Machi.
Rob Moreno's here today, I believe. Wyatt might even be back there. I don't know.
Wyatt. See ya. Prop Points is next. Enjoy.